Hi, sixth graders. Good morning. Today is April 30th, Thursday, April 30th, 2020, and we are going to go into the second half of our story, The Stolen Party. Today, during the second half of the read aloud, I'd like you guys to pay close attention to how characters interact with one another as the story moves on into Luciana's birthday party that Rosa Ora is attending with her mother. Be sure to pay close attention to how the characters' interactions develop the central conflict in the story. So, how does this create a bigger problem for how do characters' actions create a bigger problem in the story? A bigger social problem in the story. We're going to look at Rosa Ora, her interactions with the girl with the bow. We're going to consider her interaction with her mother and other characters that come along as we read today while she's at the party. Readers, today I would like you to also pay close attention to how the dialogue and actions that take place between them, how this might affect the central conflict in the story. And I would like you to ask, how does this lead them to struggle with not only themselves, but have conflicts with each other? So I'm going to pull up the story that I sent you on a PDF file in Tuesday's post. Again, readers, I want to remind you that as I read, assure that you're taking notes in your writer's notebook. You could also pause the video as it's being read to jot down some thoughts you might be having about the character interactions and connection with the central conflict in the story. Okay, so again, I want to remind you before we start that we're continuing from after she speaks to Luciana, and they're about to cut the cake, I believe. So let's see. And remember, Luciana at this point is having fun at the birthday party. So let's move on to after they cut the cake. After the cake came the magician, a tall and bondy with a fine red cape. A true magician, he could unite handkerchiefs by blowing on them and make a chain with links that had no openings. He could guess what cards were pulled out of the pack, and the monkey was his assistant. He called the monkey partner. "Let's see here, partner," he would say. "Turn over a card. And don't run away, partner. Time to work now." The final trick was wonderful. One of the children had to hold the monkey in his arms, and the magician said he would make him disappear. "What? The boy?" They all shouted. "No, the monkey," shouted the magician. Rosa Ora thought that this was true. That this was truly the most amazing party in the whole world. Rosa Ora, the magician, asked a small fat boy to come and help, but the small fat boy got frightened almost at once and dropped the monkey on the floor. The magician picked him up carefully, whispered something in his ear, and the monkey nodded almost as if he understood. "You mustn't be so unmanly, my friend," the magician said to the fat boy. "What's unmanly?" said the fat boy. The magician turned around as if to look for spies. "A sissy," said the magician. Go sit down." Then he stared at all the faces one by one. Rosa Ora felt her heart trembling. "You, with the Spanish eyes," said the magician, and everyone saw that he was pointing at her. She wasn't afraid. neither of holding the monkey, nor when the magician had made him vanish. Not even when, at the end, the magician flung a red cape over Rosa Ora's head and uttered a few magic words. And the monkey reappeared, chattering happily in her arms. The children clapped furiously. And before Rosa Ora returned to her seat, the magician said, "Thank you very much, my little countess." She was so pleased with the compliment that a while later, when her mother came to fetch her, that was the first thing she told her. I helped the magician, and I helped the magician, and he said to me, "Thank you very much, my little countess." It was strange because up to then, Rosa Ora had thought that she was angry with her mother. All along, Rosa Ora had imagined that she would imagine all the things she would say to her. See that the monkey wasn't a lie, but instead she was so thrilled that she told her mother all about the wonderful magician. Her mother tapped her on the head and said, now you're a countess." But one could see that she was beaming. And now they both stood in the entrance because at the moment Signora Ines smiling had said, "Please wait here for a second." Her mother suddenly seemed worried. "What is it?" she asked Rosa Ora. "What is what?" said Rosa Ora. "Nothing." "What is what?" said Rosa Ora. "It's nothing. She just wanted to get a present for those who are leaving, see?" She pointed at the fat boy, and at a girl with pigtails who were also waiting there next to their mothers. She explained about the presents. She knew because she had been watching those who left before her. When one of the girls would leave, Signora Ines would give her a bracelet. When a boy left, Signora Ines gave him a yo-yo. Rosa Ora preferred a yo-yo because it sparkled, but she didn't mention that to her mother. Her mother might have said, "So why don't you ask her for one, you blockhead?" That's what her mother was like. Rosa Ora didn't feel like explaining that she'd be horribly ashamed to be the odd one out. Instead, she said, "I was the best behaved at the party." And she said no more because Signora Ines came out into the hall with two bags, one pink and one blue. First, she went up to the fat boy and gave him a yo-yo out of the blue bag. And the fat boy left with his mother. Then she went up to the girl and gave her a bracelet out of the pink bag. Then the girl with the pigtails left as well. Finally, she came to Rosa Ora and her mother. She had a big smile on her face, and Rosa Ora liked that. Signora Ines looked down at her, and then looked up at her mother, and then said something that made Rosa Ora proud. "What a marvelous daughter you have, Hermionia." For an instant, Rosa Ora thought she'd give her two presents, a bracelet and a yo-yo. Signora Ines bent down sorry guys. Signora Ines bent down as if about to look for something. Rosa Ora also leaned forward, stretching out her arm, but she never completed the movement. Signora Ines didn't look in the pink bag, nor did she look in the blue bag. Instead, she rummaged through her purse. In her hand appeared two bills. You really and truly earned this," she said, handing them over. "Thank you for all your help, my pet." Rosa Ora felt her arms stick close to her body, and then she noticed her mother's hand on her shoulder. Instinctively, she pressed herself against her mother's body. That was all, except her eyes. Rosa Ora's eyes had a cold, clear look that fixed itself on Senora Inez's face. Senora Inez, motionless, stood there with her hand outstretched, as if she didn't dare draw it back, as if the slightest change might shatter an infinitely delicate balance. Okay, so boys and girls, like I said before we began the read aloud, I'd like you to go back and listen to the reading again, also completing your reading in your reading notebooks about the two things we thought about. We thought about character interaction and how it is important to look at character interaction as it develops the conflict in the story. Also, we're remembering to look at each interaction, especially with the new characters, including Rosa Ora, the girl with the bow, the mother, Rosa Ora's mother, the other character, the boy who was with the magician, and Senora Inez. Senora Inez's interaction with Rosa Ora at the end when she gives her money instead of Rosa Ora thinking she was going to get a party gift after leaving the birthday party. Also, guys, look at the dialogue and the actions that were exchanged between the characters. And ask yourself, how does this lead them to struggle? So in the beginning of the story, if you can, I would like you to remember that Rosa Ora is a very confident girl, but at the end, I would like you to think about, is she still that confident? Is she changed? How does her character change? Does her character change? And if it does, how do her actions and dialogue show it? Okay, readers, I hope you enjoyed the second read aloud. I will see you in Zoom tomorrow. Please be prepared to bring your notebook with your notes on this story, as well as the discussion questions, and we will go into our character discussion. I'll see you on Friday, readers. Have a good day.